Hey guys, this is Evan from EzOrigami, and today I'll be teaching you how to fold an Origami $8 tip designed by Arnold Tubis. This is one of 20 designs included in Arnold's book called More Tipping with Origami Money Folds, which is currently available on Amazon. If you'd like to check it out, I'll post a link in the video description below. This model is folded from $8 US. Each unit is folded from $1, and the final model will be about 6.5 inches wide. If you don't have US dollars or you'd like to try folding this model with origami paper, I've created a separate tutorial where I teach you how to cut a square into a rectangle with similar dimensions to a US dollar. I'll post a link to that in the video description as well. And I'll actually be using that method for this video just to make it a bit easier to follow along. I'm going to be using paper with color on one side and white on the other, so I'll be starting with the white side up. But if you're using an actual dollar bill, you'll want to orient it face side down and upside down so that it looks like this. And once you've prepared your paper or your dollar bill, then we're going to start by folding in half vertically. So take this right edge and fold it over to the left edge. Align the corners and the edges. Then make your crease. And then unfold. And now we're going to fold in half horizontally, but we're not going to crease all the way. So we're going to do that by aligning this bottom edge with the top edge. So we're just going to pull up the bottom edge like this. Align the corners and the edges. And once everything is aligned, we want to start by making a small crease on the left side of the model here. So just make a small crease that extends over to that left edge. And then we want to do the same thing on the right. So we're just going to make a small reference crease on this right side here. And once you've done that on both sides, then you can unfold. And now we're going to fold up this bottom edge and align it with the two reference creases we just made. So we're going to do that by pulling up the bottom edge. And we carefully want to align it with the reference creases on both sides. Just like this. And once everything is aligned, then you can make a sharp crease along the bottom edge. Then we're going to rotate the paper 180 degrees. And now we're going to fold up this bottom edge and align it with the folded edge on the top of the model. So we're just going to lift up the bottom edge like this and align it with the top edge. And once both edges are completely aligned, then you can make your crease all the way across. And now we're going to fold down this top right edge and align it with this existing vertical crease. So we're going to do that by lifting up the right side of the model. And we want to pull it up and over to the left until those edges are aligned with that vertical crease in the center. You may need to slightly adjust the layers, but once the edges are aligned with that vertical crease, then you can make a sharp crease through all layers. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left. So we want to take this top left edge, and this time we can align it with the vertical edges here. So we're just going to lift up the left side of the model, pull it up and over to the right, and we just want to align the edges with the right side. And I like to start at the top and work my way down to make sure that both sides are symmetrical. And then you can make a sharp crease through all layers. Once you have this, then you can turn the model over. And now you'll notice these two rectangles, which are the flaps that we just folded down. So we're going to start with this flap on the right, and what we want to do is take the left edge of that flap and align it with the horizontal edge at the bottom of this triangle. And we're going to do that by lifting up this right flap, and we want to pull it up and over to the right. You'll see once it hits that center point, it doesn't want to go any further. And that's where you want to start your crease. So from here, you just want to align this long edge with that horizontal edge at the bottom of the triangle. You may need to slightly adjust that flap. But once the horizontal edges are aligned, then you can make a sharp crease through all layers. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left. So we want to take the right edge of this left flap, and we want to align it with the horizontal edge at the bottom of this triangle. So we're just going to lift up this left flap and pull it up and over to the left. And you'll see once it hits that center point, it doesn't want to go any further. Then we just want to align the long edge with that horizontal edge at the bottom of the triangle, just like we did on the other side. And once both edges are aligned, then you can make a sharp crease through all layers. And now I want you to notice the small reference crease on the left that we made at the very beginning. And what we want to do is extend that reference crease over to the right as far as it goes. And we want the new crease to be a mountain fold, so we're basically folding the bottom of this flap behind. So I like to do that by lifting up the model. And then you just want to pinch that reference crease from the top, just to reinforce the existing part of that crease. Then if you fold that behind, you just want to continue to extend that crease all the way over to the right as far as it goes. The important thing here is that the new crease is parallel with this folded edge on top. And once everything is aligned, then you can make a sharp crease through all layers. We're only going to do that on the left side. So once you have this, then this is one completed unit. Now you must fold 7 more. Once you've folded all 8 units, you're going to need 2 to start the assembly. Then look at one, and you'll notice that it has a small flap on the left, it has a pocket underneath the triangle here on top, and it has a big flap on the right. And we want to start by temporarily unfolding this big flap on the first unit. So we want to pull this big flap on the right back down, just like this, unfolding along existing creases. Then you can flatten everything out, and it should look like this. Then we want to take our second unit, and we want to slightly rotate it like this. And from here we want to insert this small flap on the second unit, inside the triangular pocket on the first unit. So we're going to do that by lifting up both units, and we want to bring them together like this. Again, making sure that the small flap on the second unit goes inside of the triangular pocket on the first unit. Just like this, and you want to slide it inside as far as it goes. You'll see the flap won't want to go any further once it reaches this point where the corners of these two triangles meet here. And if your units look like this, then they should be aligned. So from here we want to fold a large flap on the first unit back up along the existing crease that we used before. So we're just going to lift up that flap from underneath and pull it up and over to the right. Again, we're using an existing crease, so you can just flatten everything out like this. And then we want to take the same flap, and we carefully want to tuck it inside of the triangular pocket on the second unit. So we're going to do that by again lifting up the same large flap from the first unit, and we carefully want to slide it inside of the triangular pocket on the second unit. So you just want to push it inside as far as it goes, just like this. Again, you'll see it should collapse along existing creases, and it should slide inside like this. And now you've connected the first two units. At this point, your model should look like this from behind. And if you notice a small triangle like this popping out from behind the first unit, you just want to tuck that layer back inside. I just figured I'd mention it because sometimes the layers get rearranged while you're assembling the units. So once your model looks like this, then you can turn it back over. So from here we want to slightly rotate the model so that the triangle from the second unit is now held on top. And then we want to temporarily unfold this large flap on the second unit, just like we did before. So from here we want to take our third unit, and we want to slightly rotate it like this. Then again we want to insert the small flap on the third unit, inside the triangular pocket on the second unit. So we're going to do that by lifting up all three units, and then we want to bring the second and third units together, just like we did before. Again, inserting the small flap from the third unit inside the triangular pocket of the second unit. And you just want to slide the second and third units together as far as they go, just like this, until those two triangles touch. You'll see that the corners of these two triangles should meet here. Then from here we want to fold the large flap from the second unit back up along this existing crease. So we're just going to lift it up from underneath and pull it up and over to the right so that it collapses along that existing crease, just like we did before. Once you have this, then we want to tuck that same flap inside the triangular pocket on the third unit. So we're carefully going to lift up that same flap and tuck it inside of the triangular pocket on the third unit, just like this, and you want to slide it inside as far as it goes. Again, we're not making any new creases here. It should just slide in along existing creases. And then we're going to slightly rotate the paper so that the triangle from the third unit is now held on top. And we also want to temporarily unfold the large flap on the third unit, just like we did with the other two units. And from here we want to take our fourth unit, and we want to slightly rotate it like this. Then we want to bring the third and fourth units together, again by inserting the small flap from the fourth unit inside the triangular pocket of the third unit. So just slide both of those units together as far as they go, until those two triangles meet. Then we want to fold up this large flap from the third unit along this existing diagonal crease. So we're going to do that by lifting up that flap from underneath, and we're going to pull it up and over to the right as far as it goes. Just like this, and it should collapse along that existing crease. Then we want to lift up that same flap, and we carefully want to tuck it inside of the triangular pocket on the fourth unit. Just like this. We want to tuck it all the way inside. And again, you're not creating any new creases for this. You're just tucking that layer inside. And once you've done that, you'll see the third and fourth units are now connected. And we want to slightly rotate the model so that the triangle on the fourth unit is now held on top. We also temporarily want to unfold this large flap on the fourth unit, just like we've been doing. At this point, if you turn the model over, it should look like this. And if you flip it back over, then we're going to add the remaining 4 units the same way. So just continue adding units just like we've been doing until you've reached the last one. And then you want to connect the first and last units exactly the same way. So you want to bring the first unit's flap out in front, and then you want to connect it to the last unit exactly like we've been doing. So just repeat the same process one more time. And once you've connected the first and last units, I suggest turning the model over real quick and checking to see if there's any of these little triangles along the outer ring. You can see this little green triangle here on top, and if you see any of those, just tuck them back inside the model like this. It'll help the ring keep its structure. And once you've done that, then you can turn the model back over to the front side, and your Origami $8 tip is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial on how to fold an Origami $8 tip designed by Arnold Tubis. Feel free to upload photos of your completed model to the YouTube gallery on my website to be featured here in my next video, or simply upload your photos to Instagram with the hashtag EzOrigami to be featured here as well. Also, be sure to check out Arnold's book called More Tipping with Origami Money Folds, which is currently available on Amazon. I'll post a link in the video description below. All of the diagrams in the book were done by another talented origami artist named Joseph Wong, and I've done quite a few tutorials on his designs as well, so I definitely recommend checking those out and taking a look at some of his books if you're looking for something new to fold. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment below. And of course, subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.